Okay, let's talk through all these golf events that you have coming up.
Gabby, I'm glad you asked. Got my calendar right here. July 17th at Red Run, and then July 31st, I have the American Golf outing for the Cancer Society.
I also have the American Cancer Society golf outing on the 31st, and also I got yours on the 18th, buddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there.
Whoa, boys, these are a lot of events and golf outings.
Well, you want me to miss my own golf tournament?
Gabby, they're all great golf.
I mean, this is...
Hold on. I got this. Guys, I got this. Don't worry about it. Hold on a second.
He always.
Hey guys, thanks for coming so fast. How are ya?
Remember the guys from Randy Wise, right? Sir. The Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour.
Watch for the eye.
It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour. Some of the biggest names in Michigan sports. And some, well, not so much. Brought to you in part by Premier Security Solutions, Fairway Packing Company, and Swiss Insurance. Watch episodes at woodwardsports.com.
Hey, let's go. Thursday show, June 22nd, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com if you're watching live. However, you are consuming Woodward Sports, we appreciate you. And today, Braylon Edwards broadcasting to you live from the grand opening of Les Stanford Buick GMC just down the street from us, where we do the show every day at 15 in Woodward. We are here at Les Stanford on Woodward in Ferndale, just south of 9 Mile. Beautiful new dealership from the Les Stanford family.
Right down the street from where we work at, and right down the street from where I actually grew up, Ryan Ermanni. If you go right there, that's 8 Mile. If you go to 8 Mile, you go to the next street, that's Woodstock. You take Woodstock down 3 streets, that'll be Briarcliff. That is where I grew up. I used to walk to that state fairgrounds all the time in the summertime. So being in this area, I'm back home, baby.
This area,
on the other side of 8 Mile.
Absolutely, this area has produced lots of talent. Tom Mazawey, though, not from here. He is in the house, though. Tom Mazawey, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Hey, man, I've been here over 30 years. Give it a rest. Okay, we're in fashionable Ferndale, man, on Woodward Avenue. Beautiful dealership. Take it from a guy that used to sell cars. This place is primo. Matter of fact, getting their oil changed as we wait here.
Look at that. And one of the things about this event today, it is open for everybody to come. If you buy a car today, there's so many great things that can happen for the kids. There's face painting and balloons and selfie sticks. But if you buy a car today or tomorrow, you get to go into the windmill of cash, and you get to stuff as much cash as you well, you can't stuff it. You got to grab it with your hands. And you get to walk away with that. Shirley bought a car today.
She did a pretty good job. I think she walked out around $47, $50.
There you go. There's $1,000 in this thing.
It's blowing everywhere. It's hard to grab that cash.
Are you allowed to put it under your shirt?
I don't know about that. We got to get the rules out. You got to buy a car first.
I'm working on it.
Braylon's got big hands, though, catching those footballs all year round. We'll catch you in there as well. Guys, lots coming up today. Tim McCormick is going to join us coming up in about 30 minutes from now. We'll talk to him about the NBA draft, which direction the Detroit Pistons will go. Number 5 overall pick. And tonight is a big night for this franchise. And I know everybody is upset, Braylon, that this team did not get the number 1 overall pick in Victor Wembanyama, even picks 2 or 3, but they will get a player tonight. Will they pick a player at 5, or will they trade that pick? These are things we don't know, but this feels like a very big night for the franchise.
Yeah, it's a huge night for the franchise. I mean, if you hear the analysts talking about it, they said obviously we know who's going 1 through 3, but 5 is really where the NBA draft starts, whether the Pistons keep the pick at 5, whether they draft one of the Thompson twins at 5, probably Asur because he's a better shooter. Right now, you don't know what Monty Williams and Tom Gorst as well as Troy Weaver are going to do. But it's going to be a fun night. And look, we didn't get the number 1 pick. We wanted the number 1 pick. We wanted to have that generational talent in Victor Wembanyama. But the thing about it is, if you look at something you'll talk about later, Ryan, just because you go number 1 doesn't mean you're going to be the best player in the draft. So if Troy Weaver and Monty Williams are doing what they're supposed to be doing, they're going to have a chance to find that player that suits the Detroit Pistons.
Did you guys get a chance to see Victor at Yankee Stadium 2 nights ago throwing out the first pitch?
It was like
I
a
saw
50 cent.
Yeah.
I saw where
Literally.
the ball fit in his hand.
Yeah, it was like a 50-cent piece in his hand.
It's like a marble.
Amazing. He didn't hit home plate, by the way. He was wide right.
Well, he
Can
was
you blame
just
him,
a bit
though?
outside. He was. But look.
It's nervous.
And everybody's talking about Wembanyama tonight. How many times over the years has there only been one great player in a draft?
Yeah.
There will be more than one great player taken tonight. And there are a number of players that have been taken over the years. Hell, look at the guy that just won the NBA championship and a 2-time MVP, probably should have been a 3-time MVP, and that's Nikola Jokic from Denver. Yeah. Pick number 41, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Taco Bell commercial was on when he got picked.
Yeah. Absolutely. Pick number 15, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Where was
Devin Booker?
Luka Doncic picked? He was not picked at number 1. Devin Booker at 13, I believe.
13 as well.
Some of the best players in this league today are not number 1 overall picks. Mm-hmm. Now, Wembanyama, sure, he looks like the next guy, but at the same time, you're going to get a good player tonight if you take it at 5. My problem with this is, and I talk about this all the time, the NBA is a man's league. Yeah. Look at the final 4 teams in the NBA playoffs. They get the men on these teams, not 19, 20, 21-year-old kids. So it's going to take some time. And I don't got 6 years. Remember in Rocky 3?
Yep.
Remember in Rocky 3 when Apollo is training Rocky, and Apollo takes Rocky to his facility in California.
I do, L.A.
And Rocky says, well, for Paulie, it takes him about 6 years. And Apollo says, well, I ain't got 6 years. I ain't got 6. As a Pistons fan, you've been miserable for 15 years.
Yep.
I don't got another 6 in me. So you better figure this out quickly.
Yeah, you definitely better figure it out quickly. And I mean, and that's something that Troy Weaver and Monty Williams, look, we know you guys just got together. Monty Williams just becomes the coach. Troy Weaver, not necessarily his pick. Guess what? You guys are stuck together. Let's figure it out. Let's draft the guy. Because, look, all these guys that come out of high school, that go to these overtime leagues, I don't know what the overtime league is playing against. How is that competition in the overtime league?
Great point.
At least the G League
It's a great point, Bray.
At least you're playing against college players, NBA-ready players. Even overseas, Victor Wembanyama, yes, we don't know what he is, but we do know the level of content over there in foreign basketball, it's much more physical than the college game and these one-year leagues. So get the guys that have been proven. Jaime Jaquez is a guy, I'm going to say this early and get it out the way. Jaime Jaquez is a guy that I want. You want guys that
UCLA?
can play. UCLA. He's a guy, 4-year starter. You want guys that know the game of basketball, guys that can come in and compete to get you to the playoffs. You don't want the guys that are going to be projects on the team where you already have so many projects. Guys like Jaime Jaquez are guys that I'm keeping my eye on.
There's a lot of guys available, too. Free agent. Look at Chris Middleton. Just opted out of a $40 million payday. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of – look at the deal Boston made with the Grizz and the Wiz.
Porzingis.
There's a lot of meat out there for Troy Weaver to pick on. He's going to make a move tonight.
And the NBA feels a little bit like the NFL in terms of trades. You know, how many times now this started with Tom Brady, right? When Tom Brady says, okay, I'm going to leave my longtime team now and go somewhere else, you have success there. Matthew Stafford the following year, and then Russell Wilson the following year. Now Aaron Rodgers. So 4 straight years we've had big player moves in the NFL. It feels like we're a little bit upon us in the NBA to get to that level as well.
I mean, as I'm thinking about it, and I know I keep saying this, and I could be wrong, I don't see Tom Gores making the move to get Monty Williams, making him the highest paid coach of all time, and just sitting in 5 and waiting for that pick. We keep talking about something is coming with Monty Williams. Something is coming with Troy Weaver as it relates to getting capital for the players they have. They're going to move some pieces, including probably that number 5 pick. They're going to get some veterans into this league. Into this team now. You can't have a bunch of guys that are 19, 20. You got to have a couple guys that are 26, 27 that are in their prime.
We talk so much about the age of the Pistons. They're the second youngest team in the NBA, or at least they were last year. We talk about the development of the young guys, Jalen Duren, who we expect to be a Dwight Howard type player. That's a
youngest player in the NBA.
Absolutely, youngest player in the NBA, Jalen Duren. Can he get to a Dwight Howard? That's a Hall of Fame level.
It is.
Okay, that's a huge tag to put on a guy. Jaden Ivey. We talk about him as this steady incline of a player, and Cade Cunningham, who you hope becomes that guy, that next great Detroit Piston to lead this team to an NBA championship. But we all know they have to get a little bit older. There's nothing we can do about the birth certificates of the 3 best players on the team right now. We can't do anything about that here in Detroit. But what Troy Weaver can do as a general manager is he can go out there and make a bold move for a veteran. Is that guy, now I know he's a young player as well, but is that guy a Julius Randle? Is that guy a Zion Williamson?
Yes.
Is that guy a Ja Morant? Because some of these players, if they're not on the market, they're going to be close to being on the market, and there will be a flawed player that gets dealt. There is no perfect player that's going to get no team is going to move the perfect player.
Yeah, 100%.
So if the Pistons acquire a player tonight, he's going to be a flawed player, and you're going to have to accept that as a Pistons fan, I think. But I guess it's a long way to get to my question of, will you be disappointed if Troy Weaver actually makes the pick at 5 tonight?
I won't be disappointed. Yeah, I definitely won't be disappointed. I think there is talent here. I just went on the spiel talking about the number 1 player in the draft isn't necessarily the best player. Each year has the best career. So if he goes ahead and picks one of Thompson-Thames, I have no problem with that as well. But what you got to do, Troy Weaver, you got to find a way to get some veterans on your team. One of the moves that was made today, who was the other young team that we watched last year? It's the Memphis Grizzlies. We watched them implode because of their youth. We watched all the things that happened with Dylan Brooks, Ja Morant, and the rest of the team. Who did they just acquire? Marcus Smart, a guy that you know leads the locker room, a guy that plays on both ends of the court, offense, defense. He's a guy that when you lose, you don't want to be in the locker room with Marcus Smart because he's going to tell you how it is. When you win, you want to be in the locker room with Marcus Smart because he's going to tell you what you did right to get better. They went and got a veteran guy that is trusted around the NBA. That's the type of move that Troy Weaver and the Detroit Pistons got to make. Got to get a guy like that.
3-team trade in the NBA yesterday. Kristaps Porzingis going to the Boston Celtics. And it's got to be hard for Boston to trade away one of their most popular players in Marcus Smart. I mean, he is for as good as Jason Tatum is and for as great as we expect Jaylen Brown to be, Marcus Smart, make no mistake, is the heart and soul of that team. They traded him away to Memphis. And just to focus on the Memphis angle of it for 1 second, they do that with 2 pieces in mind. One, insurance in case Ja Morant isn't going to be able to play. And, well, he's out for 25 games. And 2, they do that with the thought that they're not moving Ja Morant. They want him next to Marcus Smart. I bet you they put Marcus Smart's locker right next to Ja Morant.
It's not the first one, Ryan and Monty. It is absolutely the second one. They put these guys to play together. Marcus Smart is going to be a leader on that team. Marcus Smart was a leader of a young team already in the Boston Celtics. He's the defensive player of the year. He's a guy that's been to NBA Finals. He knows what it takes, and you're absolutely right. They brought him in for 2 reasons. One, Ja Morant, and the second reason, Ja Morant. They want their girls' lockers right next to each other. See, the problem is when you have Ja hanging out with the guys or hanging out with the people he's hanging with, the bad influences, when your teammates are all 19, 18, 20, 21, they're not going to tell you, Ja, that's not the look for you. Ja, you shouldn't be hanging out with that guy because they're doing dumb stuff themselves and they can't see it. But Marcus Smart sitting next to you, Marcus is going to be like, no, you're not going out with them tonight.
Coming to my house.
It's simple as that. We're watching film. Right. Because what's going to happen is great players like to hear about great players. So when Marcus Smart gets there, you know all that Ja Morant's going to be asking, what was Jason Tatum doing? What was Jaylen Brown doing? How did those guys prepare? What was Kyrie Irving like? Because don't forget, Marcus Smart and Kyrie Irving played together as well. Ja Morant will be asking those questions, but you know what that tells me? He'll be listening.
I think the Celtics made a great deal as well. They didn't win the championship with Marcus. They made a move for Kristaps Porzingis, who's been underachieving for years, kind of disappeared on me. I forgot where the heck he even was, but they get draft capital. They get a couple of number 1s. They get a 1 this year, and they get a 1 next year. I think they did well for themselves as well.
We are broadcasting to you live from Les Stanford Buick GMC in Ferndale on Woodward, in fashionable Ferndale on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. We invite everybody out today. We'll be here through the 4 o'clock show. And, of course, grand opening out here today and tomorrow. Come on out. Check out the Buick GMC lineup. Buy a car. You can go in the money machine. Grab as much money as you can in 30 seconds with your hands if you buy a car today or tomorrow. More coming up. Pistons. Tim McCormick joining us in about 15 minutes from now. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk into any Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one but 2 vehicles from Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, one for you, your wife, your girlfriend, your mom, your dad, your son, your daughter, whoever you want to give it to. And maybe you want to keep 2. You don't want to give it away to anybody. That's right. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. Several locations around the Metro Detroit area, several more around the country. There is one near you. Walk into any Lady Jane's. It's wicked awesome. Wicked awesome.
Can't get enough Woodward sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy, better sleep, blow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
He is something else! How big is that?
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Broadcasting to you live from Les Stanford Buick GMC on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile in the great city of Ferndale. We are woodwardsports.com, Woodward Sports Network. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Over 44,000 subscribers on that platform. Hit that like button as well. If you can't watch live, then download our podcast. Leave a 5-star review, available anywhere and everywhere you listen to your podcast. Braylon Edwards, I want to hit you with some of the things that the men and women in the chat are saying, okay?
What are they talking about?
Dog Pound says, I want Cam Whitmore.
Right.
He is the player
Shooting guard out of Villanova
that I think a lot of Pistons fans identify themselves with.
More guards.
What's that, Mass?
More guards.
More guards. Well, he's
small forward.
Yeah, small forward.
Small forward.
But again, he's the guy that people know because why? He played college basketball.
Right.
So many of these players, whether they played in France or in the G League Elite or whatever they call it now, we've never seen them play. I have no idea how good these Thompson twins are. I'm sure they're good. But have you ever seen Scoot Henderson play? Have you actually seen him play?
I saw Scoot play against
I'm not saying you, but you know, I'm saying that's why I think so many people want Cam Whitmore because it's the known commodity. Right. We have no idea how these players in the what is it the G League overtime elite.
Let's call it the G League.
Yeah,
it's two different leagues though.
I mean, it is. It's two different leagues. We don't know anything about them, but it's the known commodity versus the unknown, and the unknown scares you a little bit.
Yeah, and I can understand why people want Cam Whitmore. You know, he's a small forward guy that can put the ball on the floor. He can get to the hole. He also shoots the 3-ball at around 38%, which is close to 40. That'll get better. You want guys that can fill the cup. You want guys that can shoot. It's been a big problem with the Detroit Pistons. Haven't had guys that can consistently put the 3-pointer in the cup, not to mention guys that can create their own shots. So I understand that. He's got college experience. He's gone against 4-year guys, 3-year guys, grown men. But don't fear the unknown. One of the biggest things about the foreign leagues, if you're talking about the overtime league, yeah, I get it. They play against guys that are also 19, so they don't really have any experience. At least the G League, you're playing against guys that have been in the NBA before, guys that are trying to get back to the NBA, guys that have played college ball, so I respect that. But don't fear the foreign league, because I'm telling you, the level of ball over there is physicality. You look at Luka Doncic, You saw when Luka Doncic came into the league, he had been playing against grown men since he was 14, 15, 16 years old. By the time he get over here, you can't move Luka. He was a little fat in the beginning. He's lost some weight, but you can't move
then
those
he gained
guys.
it back.
This is true, but the guys are physical. Tim Duncan, I mean, he 4 years at Wake Forest. But the foreign league is physical, and that's what you come into the NBA. They're going against guys that can play the game. It's physical. You can trust the foreign league guys at least.
But, Braylon, I agree with you. Foreign league guys are different because they're playing against pros.
Yeah.
I think this G League, and even now in college basketball, everything seems so watered down. Right. The Pistons have the #1 pick in the second round tonight. Pick number 31 overall. Normally, you would think, oh, they're going to get a really good player there. Yeah. Are they? We're worried if they're going to get a good player at 5.
Right. They did get Spencer Dinwiddie in the second round, if you remember that.
And they got Chris Middleton in the second round.
That's right.
Well,
2 good ball players that were all-stars.
Yeah, he's available last time I checked, Chris Middleton. Look, I mean, at the end of the day, the NBA is going to be a crapshoot regardless. It's been a crapshoot for a very long time. There's talent in there. The best GMs tend to pluck that talent out if they have a guy. Sometimes you get lucky and scout a guy, much like the Milwaukee Bucks did as related to Giannis Antetokounmpo. But you just got to do your homework, Ryan. At the end of the day, this is what your job as a scout is. This is what your job as a GM. How much homework have you done? You knew there was a chance, Troy Weaver, that you would not get the first pick in Victor Wembanyama, that you wouldn't get the second pick, which is probably going to be Brandon Miller, the tremendous small forward out of Alabama. Probably, to me, the most skilled player in this draft right now is Brandon Miller. And then Scoot Henderson. You knew you may not get one of these 3. What was your backup plan? What did you tell your players? What did you tell your coaches? You say, hey, look, this is what we'll potentially do. This is how we're going to work this thing. You don't go all in on a head coach and spend all that money if you don't have a plan for the roster itself. Troy Weaver's up to something, and he's been watching your boy, the mad scientist, and Brad Holmes for the last 2 years. Hopefully he picked up something, and Steve Yzerman as well.
Brandon Miller is looking to go #2, it looks like, to Charlotte.
Yeah.
The Hornets on the clock at #2, and they are loving themselves some Brandon Miller, so that still leaves Scoot at 3. Who knows? I know the Pistons really liked him. Who knows? Maybe they could wind their way and get up and get him.
So you raise an interesting point, because that's where I was going to go next. Is there any chance that the Pistons actually move up in this draft, actually move up and get Scoot Henderson, actually move up and trade Jaden Ivey in #5
or
for
Killian
Scoot
Hayes?
Henderson? No, nobody's going to take Killian Hayes.
You don't know that.
I do know that. I do know that. It's a fact that nobody wants him.
I would have to say Killian Hayes has put himself in a predicament over the last couple of years where he hasn't played a lot of games, and when he does play, his shooting percentage hasn't been where you would like of a 2-guard. So I understand.
He is a former 7th overall pick. You're
100%
Tyrese
correct.
Halliburton.
It is possible for the Pistons to move up. Yes, let's say they want to go to 3. Portland is experimenting right now, and they're looking because Dame Lillard has made it clear. Damian Lillard has made it clear. I want to stay in Rip City, but I don't want young guys. I'm not here for the rebuild. So Portland may be in a situation where as much as they will want to Scoot Henderson, who's the best point guard and maybe the best athlete in this draft, Damian Lillard don't want to play with him. So if Dame doesn't want to play with him and they got to make him happy, here's a move. Maybe the Pistons move up to 3. Maybe they package 5 and Bogdanovich. And maybe they package something. So there is a chance for them to move up. It's also a chance for them to move down. People like Utah, people like Golden State, I think the Lakers, they want to all move up. They want to get ahead, I can't remember who it is, of #6. They want to either get to 6 or they want to become the #5 pick. So with that being said, it's some options for the Pistons. 5 is actually not necessarily that bad a decision this year because a lot of players want to get to 5 and get ahead of 6.
We have the odds from FanDuel updated last night, as a matter of fact, for the top, for the picks for #5. These are the players they think will still be around at 5. You guys at home can take a look at these guys. But, you know, it's changing just a little bit from these 5 guys. But it looks like that's what they're thinking. This is the lot that the Pistons are going to check out.
Yeah, and, you know, I quit looking at odds a while back when it comes to these players. But these look, these guys don't know anything about who's going where,
Yeah.
I don't think.
Jarace Walker is the favorite.
Jarace
Walker is the favorite.
He's another power forward.
And Thompson, Whitmore, Thompson again.
I guarantee you 90% of the people out there listening right now have no idea where he's from.
Right. I don't.
90%.
Houston.
Well, I know, Houston.
But the problem with that is you already have James Wiseman. You're still trying to figure out what is the ceiling on James Wiseman. What is James Wiseman going to be able to do? Because every time you hear someone talk about Golden State and their decision to move on from James Wiseman, they always have what? The ceiling was through the roof. It just didn't work in Golden State. So if his ceiling is that far through the roof, let's not figure out. He's a power forward. Jalen Duren is a power forward. You still got Marvin Bagley III that you brought in.
He's got to go.
He's a power forward. He's definitely got to go.
He's got to go. If you want James Wiseman to really blossom, Bagley's got to go.
Well, I mean, you just don't have the minutes for Wiseman, Bagley, Duren, and Beef Stew.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's one.
In a positionless NBA.
Stew's got to stay.
For what?
I like him.
You like the toughness, and I get it, but Ryan and I have agreed on this since day one.
Jason Maxiell, man.
He's better than Maxiell.
You think he's better than Maxiell? I think Maxiell's better than him.
He was on the verge of getting Sixth Man of the Year, like at one point. And maybe that'll change for Beef Stew. Last year he tried to implement the three-pointer into his arsenal, but Beef Stew can't put the ball on the court. He's an undersized big man. It's one of those situations, man. I just don't see how he fits into a team if you want to win. Like if you just want to have a guy that fits the culture, he plays hard, he's a fighter, he'll have Cade Cunningham's back. He's a great guy. But in terms of winning basketball, I can't see where Isaiah Stewart fits in that.
Well, that would be the end of Troy Weaver's first pick then. First draft is Killian Hayes, Bay, who's gone to Atlanta, and now
Beef Stew. You learn on the job. Hey, sometimes this is on the job.
That's a throwaway draft.
Yep.
It's like that sometimes. But you know what? You got to be more like the 49ers. The 49ers, they'll mess up a pick. They'll move on from that pick, find a way to right that wrong, and keep that thing moving. You can't double down on the bad pick. And it seems like right now Troy is in that position where he could triple down on three guys.
More on the Pistons with 10-year NBA vet, Michigan basketball, Bally Sports Pistons as well. We'll talk to Tim McCormick when we come back.
Another hidden gem in the
draft.
But
first,
former number one pick.
Former number one pick. That's right. But first, a message from Big Boy.
That's right. You know, it's Strawberry Fest at Big Boy, so get on down there and start with the breakfast, the strawberry hotcakes, the mouth-watering red velvet waffle. If you're not in the mood for breakfast, how about the strawberry bacon chicken wrap and the summer splash salad? Don't you dare leave without dessert, the classic strawberry pie. Put a little icing on there, a little whipped cream on there. How about the deep-fried vanilla Oreo? And more. Of course, you can order a Big Boy as well from your local Big Boy.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one, but two vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, one for you, one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Let one of our talented, award-winning stylists make you look handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports. The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network. The game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com if you're watching live. Welcome in to the show today, broadcasting to you live from Les Stanford Buick GMC in Ferndale on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. Grand opening out here. We want to thank Les Stanford for their partnership here on Woodward Sports. Pretty much from day one that we were together in August of 2021, Les Stanford's been with us. We appreciate their sponsorship. 12th. here on this network. But tonight is a big night. It is all about the Detroit Pistons in the NBA. NBA draft time. Tim McCormick, former first-round pick, 10-year NBA vet, former Michigan Wolverine, always a Wolverine.
That's the one that
and, of course, Bally Sports Piston joins us now on the phone. Tim, how you doing?
It's draft day. I'm fired up. I can't wait. I'm heading up to Soaring Eagle for a draft show with Greg Kelser and Morris Peterson. Herman Moore. So it should be a lot of fun.
Hey, Tim, on draft night every year, do you remember your draft like it was yesterday when it was your name that was called?
Absolutely. And it was a good story, I think an interesting story. I was with the U.S. Olympic team with Michael Jordan, et cetera, and I was actually an alternate, which means I didn't get a gold medal. But I practiced with them all summer, and on draft day, I was in Indianapolis with the team, and I was sitting right next to Michael Jordan. He went 3, I went 12, and afterward, we came back to practice, and Bobby Knight said, "I just want to congratulate all the guys that got drafted." And he said, "McCormick, you got drafted by Cleveland, but they don't want you. They trade you to Washington." And I was a bit confused, and then he popped his head back in the room and said, "Washington doesn't think you can play a lick either. They trade you to Seattle."
Sonics.
And then he started to leave, and he said, "If you don't start playing harder, I'm going to trade you to Alaska for some fishing rights." And so I was completely confused, but very excited.
Talking to Tim McCormick, Bally Sports
He was a
Pistons.
supersonic, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And they are going to get a team pretty soon, we believe, anyway. But Tim, obviously feels like a big night for the Pistons. First and foremost, do you believe they will make the pick at 5 tonight?
They may make it, but I think they'll trade it. I don't believe there's anybody at that spot that has Troy Weaver looking at them like a can't miss, so excited to insert them into the lineup. There's certainly some talent there, but no of the no-miss type of guys. And I think that there's enough intrigue around the league to get either one of the Thompsons or possibly, there's a lot. Jarris Walker, Cam Whitmore, they're all promising and exciting. But I think the draft capital is going to be very important. And I think that the Pistons could get 2 rookies, both in the lottery, with that pick.
Tim, I got a question for you, too. How's it going, my guy? Make sure you tell Greg Kelser, who is my uncle, I said hello.
I'll do that.
I appreciate that, man. Michigan State guy, but look, we won't hold that against him because he got that national championship. You just think about the draft tonight, man. The Pistons need some experienced guys. I mean, you look at a move like the Memphis Grizzlies made where they landed with Marcus Smart. We know what that move was about, not only the Ja Morant situation, but he's an experienced guy. He can lead that locker room. He can help those guys in moments where they're inexperienced. Is there any chance for Troy Weaver and Monty Williams to make a move like that for a guy? You got a lot of young guys on this team. I don't expect them all to be here starting the season. Is there any moves they're going to make today for some veteran guys with the young guys that they have?
So I would say no, and my thought process is this. With the youth the Pistons have, they're going to struggle for another 4 years, maybe longer. When you look at Jalen Duren or Jaden Ivey or Kate, they're so young. I believe you have to wait till they're 25 years old before they're getting into the playoffs and expecting a deep run. So I think it's a bit premature to try to get the veteran guys. The veteran guy that might help you win a few more games, that's not what they're about. They're about developing talent. And with 17 wins last year, if they go ahead and double that and get to 34, that would be a remarkable story. And they're still not even close to the play-in game. So, I hear what you're saying, but I think that you're going to try to get them focused on the youth.
Tim, I'm going to ask you a question. I think it's a question everybody just heard you say that is asking. 4 years? Like, can Troy Weaver last 4 years? Can the fan base last another 4 years? Especially, and I know this sucks for the Pistons, when you look across the street and you see what Ford Field was able to do in the span of 2 years, like it's a now type of profession. Is there any way we can get it out of 4 year range? Can Troy
How about
make it?
3? Yeah, we can get to 3.
Okay. Can Troy survive to 3?
Boston, Miami, Cleveland, Milwaukee. they all feel like home court advantage, right?
Yeah.
You've got Brooklyn, their young forwards I like. New York is getting better. Atlanta's got great guards. Orlando, I think, is going to make a big jump. And if Chicago, I don't know what their deal is. They don't have any draft picks, and they've got DeMar DeRozan and Zach
Lonzo
LaVine.
Ball's
That's
been
pretty
injured
good.
for 4 years.
Yeah. So I just don't know if the Pistons are going to jump over all of those teams. And I just named 8 without even. I'm probably missing somebody. Indiana's good too.
Yeah, you're right.
Talking to Tim McCormick. Hey, Tim, one of the things we were talking about yesterday, I want your perspective on it, is who's actually in charge of the Pistons organization? You know, for a lot of businesses, the guy that makes the most money is usually in charge. You paid Monty Williams an exorbitant amount of money. Where do you think the role is, the dynamic is between Monty Williams, Troy Weaver, and Tom Gores?
Well, any good team has teamwork. And in the business world, who's in charge? The CEO, the president, the owner, the board of directors, and there's a lot of different power sources there. I would say that Troy Weaver is controlling all of the acquisitions, and Monty Williams has got to put them in the right position. But when you look at Monty's contract and his track record, remember when he took over with Phoenix, they only won 19 games his first time through, and then all of a sudden now they're one of the best teams in the NBA. So I think that Troy and Monty communicate a lot. Tom Gores, I think he sits back and writes the checks and expects them to make progress.
Hey, Timmy, just a question on tonight's top 3 picks. We all know Victor's going 1. Brandon Miller's probably going 2 to Charlotte. That leaves Scoot Henderson, a player that I know the Pistons kind of liked. Is there a chance that they can pick at 3? I know there's a chance, but do you believe there's a decent chance that they could trade and move up to 3?
Sure, and I don't know off the top of my head what that would take. Maybe something with Boyan and the number 5 pick, and maybe another piece. I don't know, James Wiseman, maybe. I don't know, but I think it could happen, but I think it's unlikely. Yeah. And also think about Jaden and Cade. They need the ball in their hands. They're ball dominant guards, and to take somebody like Scoot Henderson, who is also the same way, that would be really interesting to see. When I watch Scoot Henderson, I think a little bit about a young Isaiah Thomas.
Huh. That would be a pretty nice piece to get, but unfortunately they're picking at 5. You just spoke about James Wiseman. That's a kid that I'm really interested in. I know Marvin Bagley's there. You got Jalen Duren trying to get minutes as well. Ryan mentioned that earlier. But what do you think of James Wiseman as a player going forward here in Detroit?
Man, it's way too young to write him off because I think he's 22 years old. He's just trying to figure things out. He's an excellent, versatile low post scorer. He can pass. He can do a little bit of lob threat. I think he's really good. And I would be satisfied if you could pencil into the lineup that Jalen Duren's your starting center for the next 15 years, and he shares the minutes probably 60-40 with James Wiseman. And when I talk about Duren, I don't hesitate to say this. It wouldn't surprise me if 10 years from now that he's got more all-star appearances than anybody else on this team.
Wow. I'm with you. I love Wiseman's upside as well, and that's pretty good compliment for Jalen Duren, man.
Hey, Tim, you know what? We're going to switch it up. We're going to have a little bit of fun. I think we get so dialed into what's going on in the draft and all this breakdown. Let's have some fun. You ready for a quick rapid fire? Not too many, I promise.
Yeah, let's do a rapid fire. I'll do the best I can.
All right, here we go. Pistons, 27 wins. Over, under?
Over.
I like it. Who is the number 2 player in this class? Is it Scoot Henderson? Is it Brandon Miller? Is it someone that we don't know yet?
So I think that Brandon Miller would be a better fit for the Pistons for sure. But who's going to be the better player down the road? I think the best next to Victor would be Scoot Henderson.
Nice. I disagree, but you know what? I should agree with you. You know way more about basketball than I do.
Who's your pick?
Brandon Miller. I think Brandon Miller has that KD game. Not nearly as good as KD before I finish, but I think he's long. He's 7'1" with his wingspan. He can shoot the 3. 39% clip, get to the hole. I just think he's a silky smooth player, like maybe a Paul George with a KD, if you will. So that's just a little something.
You backed it up. It's good.
Who had more hype to him, Victor Wembanyama or LeBron James when he came out in 2003? More hype, Victor Wembanyama, LeBron James?
Well, just the culture and social media climate today is going to give Victor. He's got a worldwide projection. I actually went to LeBron's high school when he was a senior and talked to him and talked about the league and about the transition to the NBA. And then I interviewed him at the McDonald's All-American game, which I called for ESPN. And the amount of attention was phenomenal for LeBron James. But that was really before social media was over the top. And to put it in perspective, at the end, I gave LeBron my business card and told him to call me if he needs anything. And he pulled out his cell phone, and I didn't have a cell phone. Nobody I knew had a cell phone. He was the only guy. So that kind of shows you how technology has changed. And by the way, he never called.
It's all good. Last two for you, Tim, and these will be fun for you. Best draft class ever.
1984. Michael Jordan, John Stockton, Olajuwon, Barkley, McCormick. Oh.
I love it. You got to add yourself in there.
Last one for you, Big T. So we'll be doing top 10. I'll be doing my top 10 number one overall, the best of all time. Timmy Mack, who is the best number one overall NBA pick of all time? Your last question.
I would say Lou Alcindor, who turned into Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
There it is.
That's a heck of one. Hey, Tim, can I get one more question out of you before we let you go? Just curious.
No.
Please. I need your expertise on this. Because I value your eye for the game of basketball. I mean, at all levels, from high school to college to the NBA. Where are we right now? We were just talking about, I have no idea what the talent is like in the overtime elite G League. College basketball feels a little bit watered down because it's so young now. What are you seeing when you watch basketball?
The shooting is at an all-time high. The skill development has changed, the approach. The game today is not as physical. Defensively, you can't touch people. You can't put your hands on them, which would really affect a lot of guys. But I think that the skill level is greater today than it's ever been. And it would be hard for my era athletically to be able to compete with today's players.
Incredible stuff. Tim, we certainly appreciate it. And have some fun tonight with Herman Moore and Morris Peterson and Greg Kelser. Oh, my gosh.
A lot of Michigan State guys
what a
up there,
crew.
man.
I mean, we'll come head up and see you tonight.
I know, right?
Yep, tune in, guys. Tune in. Look it up. Hit the Facebook. Hit the Twitter. You'll find it.
All right, great stuff.
Thanks,
Tim McCormick, we
Timmy.
appreciate it, my friend. 12th overall
Thanks,
pick
guys.
in the 1984 first round of the NBA draft, sitting next to Michael Jordan at that table. How cool is that?
That's got to be real cool. We have him on every year around this time, and I don't think he told us that story last time. I think he told us something about being in Michael's draft, but he didn't tell us the joke about Bobby Knight. So great stuff.
All right, guys. Hey, when we come back, I want to change it up if we could a little bit. Talk a little college football. Nick Saban had some thoughts on college football and the playoff. He spoke with Joel Klatt on his podcast. Yeah. We'll talk about those comments. And Deion Sanders talked about why he doesn't want to coach in the NFL. Bill Belichick weighed in as well. But first, a message from it's a
Top 10 Thursday.
It is I forgot my whereabouts. It is a Top 10 Thursday at the top of the hour. Oh, you kidding?
Hey, man, I'm just trying to get it out there.
We are broadcasting to you live from the grand opening of Les Stanford Buick GMC in Ferndale here on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. There's so much going on here today. Selfie stations, face paintings, balloons, a money machine. If you buy a car today or tomorrow, you can go in the money machine, grab as much as you can. There's $1,000 in there.
Yes, we know the secret, too.
Grab as much as you can. In 30 seconds, you get to keep it. But you got to buy a car today or tomorrow. here in Ferndale. Guys, we're going to take a break. College football next. But first, a message from Outdoor Equipment Company. Your childhood may be over, but playtime is not. Outdoor Equipment Company, your source for outdoor power equipment, sales, service, parts, carrying top brands such as Bad Boy, LS Tractor, Steel, and more. Servicing the Great Lakes region with locations in Metro Detroit and Greater Lansing. For more information, visit OutdoorEquipCo.com. OutdoorEquipCo.com, your power equipment playground.
Winning is a habit. So is listening daily to Woodward Sports. We're glad you're a winner, and thanks for listening. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Hey, it's Sean Jordan from the Sports Marketing Agency, and SMA wouldn't be who we are without our amazing partners.
Thank you so much, Sean. You know, at Detroit Wayne, we want to serve as a resource for you and your families. We offer mental health services, substance use disorder services throughout our communities, and we want to be that source and resource within the community.
If you or a loved one are suffering from a mental health or substance abuse issue, please don't hesitate to call 1-800-241-4949.
Get a shot up. This is for the win.
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey. I want to thank the crew out here at Woodward Sports as well. The great Jeremy Bryant, JB in the house. Parker Brown is back with us. And intern Alex making
he's a Michigan man.
Big contribution today. Hell yes, he is. Man. Go Blue. Smart man over there, intern Alex. We love him and appreciate him. Guys, I want to talk to you a little bit about college football. Nick Saban going back to the well. A little bit of an old argument that he had late last year during the playoff. He made the Vegas argument again. and the Vegas argument is that he was favored. Alabama would have been favored against 3 of the 4 teams in the college football playoffs. So by virtue of that.
Can I finish the statement?
Yes.
Why aren't we in the playoffs?
Exactly.
I mean, it's one of those things where by the original right of the playoff system, it was the best 4 teams. So I think Nick's hung up on the best 4 teams, but he's omitting conference championship. He's omitting, undefeated. He's letting that stuff go. I understand, and he's right.
He's saying that the most wins.
Let me read the quote.
Doesn't mean they're the best team.
Let me read the quote. All we do is take the teams that win the most games at the end of the year and put them in the playoffs. But do you really get the best teams? When they told me they would be favored 3 out of 4 against 3 out of the 4 teams in the playoff, I'm like, why aren't we in the playoffs?
It's a fair question.
So it is a fair question about. Forget about the Vegas part of it. We'd be favored because Alabama was a 2-touchdown favorite against LSU and lost the game. Yeah. So let's not mistake that. The Vegas argument is a bad argument.
Yeah, it's true.
But they're 95% right usually.
Yes. But what I take from this statement is this. I always try to get it back to a local.
Might have the mighty.
Right? If you're Michigan and you've got every year them talking about your non-conference schedule, but this statement is true. They just take the team with the most wins. They don't take the best team. Why aren't you scheduling yourself 4 wins out of the gate? That's what you got to do. I'm not playing anybody. Now, when you get into the college football playoff in 2024, and you could have a 3 or a 4 loss team probably going to make that tournament, fine. But for the argument last year and the argument this year, I'm not scheduling anybody. Yes, I will play you UConn, or yes, I will play you Bowling Green. I don't even know who's on their schedule this year. It's so bad.
Listen, the person that has the person in any situation, any genre of life that has a legal loophole to get to success, a legal loophole to make the most money, a legal loophole to make more money than you, get more wins than you, and everything is fine and it's not illegal, they never complain.
Right.
They never change. as you shouldn't.
Right.
Nick Saban, you've been to how many national championships? You won how many? 7? I think he's in the league solely now. 7 national championships. If you could the one at LSU, you won 7. You've been to however many else. The national scene is about to change anyway. It's about to go to 6 games and 12 games, or 12 games next year. People are changing conferences. This is something that he should drop.
Right.
Like if this was somebody with one championship,
one championship
or,
ring,
or just been to one,
right?
Or an appearance, one championship appearance, and they're complaining like, "Oh, this sucks." I understand that. You won 7. You've been to 4 in the last 10 years. 4 national championships in the last 10 years. Look, settle on that. It's about to change. Why bring up old stuff? Spilled milk. Stop crying over spilled milk. It's changing.
No doubt, Maz.
It's changing.
I'm with you now. Before I was disappointed at Michigan's schedule. I want to play Notre Dame. I want to play USC. I want to play the big schools. I want to see good football. I don't want to pay to go see Bowling Green, unless I'm going to Bowling Green to watch Miami of Ohio, which I did last year. That's a MAC game. I'm playing in the Big Ten.
Did you go to MACtion?
I went to MACtion.
You did?
Yeah, I went.
I want to go to
me and Slippery
MACtion.
Pete Spivak.
I want to go to MACtion.
This year, we'll take you.
Go to a Tuesday night or Wednesday night.
We'll take you to the Glass Bowl
Toledo.
in Toledo.
I think too.
Anyway, I used to like playing the big boys, but like you said, 4-0, give it to me all day, because at the end of the day, if you run the table and beat the teams you're supposed to, Penn State, Michigan State, and of course Ohio State, you're going to be in the playoff.
Look at what Notre Dame tries to do.
But not to mention, the only problem with that, too, is listen, right now as it is, don't try to react to something that's going on currently where we wouldn't get mad at people saying that we play the easy schedule. Now you're like, all right, you know what? Let's schedule these guys. Because the schedule and with the conference expanding, it's about to naturally become better football anyway. The Big Ten is about to get better next year, the year after that. It's going to get harder next year, the year after that. You're going to start playing the UCLAs, the USCs, the Washingtons, the Oregons. You're going to have to travel during the year. You're going to have to take that trip to the West Coast that Michigan fans and Michigan players that we hate because we can't seem to win on the West Coast. You're going to have to start doing that. Next year you play Texas. UCLA is in the conference next year. USC is in the conference next year. You play Texas to open up the season next year. This is going to happen. Don't worry about Nick Saban or anybody else because the Big Ten schedule is about to change. And with the college football playoff system, you're going to have to play against these teams at the end anyway. So it really doesn't matter.
But that's also a great point. Next year they play Texas. And it's the reason why it's next year is because you're probably going to get a 3-loss team into the college football playoffs. You might have more than one team with 3 losses in the college football playoffs.
I don't know about that.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I actually agree with you, and that's why I kept saying I didn't want it. You know,
you always said that.
And I always had stats and always had data to prove it. But here's more data to prove against what we were saying now. The last 2 years, the 12th place team has only had 2 losses. The last 2 years, the 12th place team has been, I want to say, 12-2. And 12 and 11 and 12 and 1.
Well, I mean, think about this. We're talking about Alabama as a top 4 team last year with how many losses?
2.
Yeah.
2. Top 4, not top 12. So every season will be unique to its own. But
they were also over some teams that only had 1 loss.
Yeah, but you're going to be going to beat up on each other.
Our defense, Ryan and my defense against your undefeated season, which used to be the pinnacle. Are the wild card teams in baseball and football and hockey. The 8th place team, the Florida Panthers, they could run the table. These teams with 3 losses, they get hot. They could run the table. It's kind of fun.
Here's why I disagree. Here's why I completely disagree with you. This isn't baseball. This isn't hockey. It's not the guy that's going to sneak in the wild card and they can get on the run and make it because their team is equal, if not a little under the other team. No team is getting hot in college football and going to go on some type of run where they got no 5-star players and they're going to beat Alabama, who has 33
unless there's an injury.
Or there's Georgia. No, because then there's Georgia, who has 27 5-star players. Then there's Ohio State, who has 18. Then there's Michigan. Michigan right now is the number 3 to 4 best team in the country. They've been the number 3 best team in the country the last 2 years, correct?
Yeah.
They can't beat the SEC, and they're the number 3 team in the country. So who the hell are these wild card teams you're talking about in the SEC or the ACC that could potentially beat Alabama. Or
In
beat Georgia.
the
Or beat LSU.
off year, Bryce Young misses I'm just using him because
Right.
the impact he could have. Misses the first month and a half of the season. They lose 2-3 games. He comes back. They can do it. But that's how.
But here you go.
That's a scenario in which that
And
happens.
here's
It's a very rare scenario.
Here's your scenario for that. Then there's Georgia.
Yeah.
Then there's LSU.
Right.
So it doesn't even matter about that one team because they
Fair
have
enough.
two teams to replace them. Hell, Ole Miss will be good this year. So I'm just saying and I still hold true to that.
It ain't the NFL. It's not parity.
Nah.
I get it.
Well,
TCU. Just look at the TCU Georgia last year. That's essentially what I'm talking about. It won't be 800 to 8, but that's essentially what you're looking at from 7 to 12. Is you're looking at teams that are going to get mollywopped by positions 4 through 1.
Hey, you were talking about the University of Michigan a moment ago. They just picked up another offensive lineman.
I thought it was another.
Incredible. Ladarius Henderson. Take a look at the size of this guy. He's a top 100 offensive lineman from Arizona State. He comes to Michigan now in the transfer portal and adds to an already dominant offensive line. I don't know where he's going to play because this line, offensive tackle. Right side, left side. He's going to be a left tackle. Intern Alex is all over this guy.
Thank you, Alex.
But the size of this guy is incredible. There's so many guys on this Michigan offensive
They're
line.
building it like the Lions, baby.
Yeah.
But here's the issue I have with this. They're doing exactly what we say for the Detroit Lions. Make what's good for you, make it great. The offensive line is the best position for the Detroit Lions. Obviously, the University of Michigan as well. You keep adding offensive linemen. You keep drafting offensive linemen. You keep picking guys like Glasgow. Well, now Michigan seems to do that. You saw what happened last year. They picked up Oluwatimi from Virginia, a guy that had finished. He won the Remington. He comes back and wins it again, or finished finalist, then wins it the following year. But the problem with that is you're building this team to beat Ohio State, and it is working. You are dominating Ohio State.
That's why you're beating Ohio State, by the way.
Okay, you're building the squad to beat Ohio State. Maz, you know exactly where I'm going with that. What about the playoffs? What about the national championship? Is Michigan putting too much focus on the running game, the offensive line, and where they're forgetting about the outside, where they're forgetting about the passing game, where they're forgetting about you got to play Georgia, you got to play LSU, you got to play Alabama. We know we now can beat Ohio State. Now we need to form variations of that offense where you're getting that ball down the field. Because just beating Ohio State, I hate to say it, it's not enough anymore.
I think it's great to say it.
Yeah, you're right.
You know
It's
what I mean?
not enough
I
anymore.
think that's where
I got goosebumps.
That's exactly where you want to be. That, it's not good enough just to beat Ohio State and win a Big Ten championship anymore. You've got to do more. And I think what you've got
to. But you're okay with just that, right?
For this year.
Yeah.
But no, now for this year. I would like to win a playoff game this year. I would like to. But I would take great satisfaction out of beating Ohio State. I would take great satisfaction out of beating Ohio State and getting Ryan Day fired. Let him have a 40-3 record and I want Ohio State to win every other game than Michigan as well, because I want that 3 on Ryan Day's record to reflect the 3 losses
we talked about
that Michigan has delivered him.
He will join the Lord.
Gary Cooper?
John Cooper.
John Cooper.
I love John Cooper. The guy, what a humble man, but he knew I couldn't beat Michigan. I'm out of there. He was a great coach.
I was at that game in 95, the Bianca-Patuca game.
That's what really got him fired.
That's what it was. I think they were like number 2 in the country, number 1 in the country.
They beat everybody.
And they had the Heisman that year. Eddie George won the Heisman that year.
It was so great.
I've had him on shows so many times. He's so humble, and he laughs at himself. He said, I just couldn't beat them. I couldn't beat Michigan. That's why I'm not there.
Wow.
I'll never forget that game because Chimanga Bianca-Patuca had that amazing game we saw.
313 yards.
And that is the area code to Detroit, baby.
Is that still a record?
Yeah.
I think so.
In the game?
Wow.
No, it never was in the game. Record is 347 by Ron Johnson.
Former Giant.
Yeah, 1965.
Rest in peace.
6, rest in peace, yeah.
Wow.
He was a tremendous businessman, too. Owned a lot of franchises.
First round pick.
All right, guys. Hey, coming up, hour number 2 of the program. Braylon's got a top 10 list. It is a top 10 Thursday. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts and have been for over 90 years. When you see this black and yellow sign out in front of your house, it it tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, their 24/7 professional monitoring, customized solutions from real experts, and technology backed by people means that you are backed by the best. Call this number right here, 1-800.
Stay out.
That number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, one for you, one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Let one of our talented, award-winning stylists make you look handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Hour number 2 of the program. It is a pleasure to be joined here at Les Stanford Buick GMC in Ferndale. Great place. If you're looking for a car, come check this place out. The Buick GMC lineup is phenomenal. And the showroom here on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile, is second to none. Incredible place.
It's gorgeous.
We encourage everybody to come on out. Hey, maybe you need an oil change, some service. Come
I'm
here
getting one.
to Les Stanford Buick GMC in Ferndale. Hour number 2, woodwardsports.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Over 44,000 subscribers on that platform. Let's hit that like button as well. Let's see if we can get to over 100 likes by the end of this segment. That would be fantastic. And the segment is a fan favorite. It is a crowd favorite. It is a weekly segment. It is the segment by the one. Get it? See how I did that? The one.
The one
and
with
only.
The 2.
Did you see my tweet today, by the way?
No.
Oh, you got to hold on. Before I introduce.
Okay, what'd you do?
Okay, so Braylon Edwards.
Did you get in trouble?
No, I did not.
All right, that would be
Braylon
me.
Edwards tweets out.
Oh, shoot. It was me.
Congrats to the newest 10 members of the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame, including 2 brothers of mine, Lamar Woodley and Rip Hamilton. So I quote tweeted, congrats to the new members. P.S. I can think of someone I know who should be on that list next year.
Oh, yeah.
Number 1.
I appreciate that, bro.
Should have been in already.
I appreciate that much
I
love.
cannot believe you're not.
I vote on this, just to let you know.
You do?
Yes.
So it's you that's not getting
No,
in.
I always
You're not
vote.
voting for
I
it.
always.
I found a guy.
No,
It's
you can
mad.
go from 1 to
I'm
10
mad.
on a player.
Right.
10 meaning he deserves it the most.
Right.
I always put a 10 by you.
I appreciate it. At the end of the day, it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. Wanted to get in, but, in God's
You're in next year.
In God's timing.
You're in. T. Foss is trying to get in.
He should get in.
He's trying to get in.
Oh, yeah, definitely. For the media side of things, I definitely. Stan's in.
Stan.
And he should be, too.
100% he deserves. My dad's
Best.
in.
He should be cool.
So, like father, like son, coming soon. But
Come
Ryan,
on
That
now.
would be the first father-son duo in the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame together,
Would it
I
be?
think. I'm pretty sure it would
Good
be.
guess.
Yeah,
Really good guess.
yeah, absolutely. All right, Braylon, Top 10 Thursday.
All right, check it out. So with the NBA draft being today, 2023 NBA draft, it makes one beg the question. You start thinking about draft classes. You start thinking about number 1 picks. So I'm like, who are the top 10 number 1 picks in NBA history? Now, Maz, for you, I did NBA history.
Thank you.
I did not do the
Thank you.
last 30 years.
Well, you heard Tim McCormick.
100%. And that guy's on this list.
All right.
But Tim might be pissed at where I have that guy.
Lou, L-E-W, Alcindor.
100%. So we'll talk about it. So here's the list. I'll do a couple honest, honorable mentions before we get to the full list. Honorable mention.
You always do your honorable mention.
Because it's fun.
I know.
Because,
You know, it's
why?
true,
because
too.
people are going to talk about these guys.
I love the
Yeah.
honorable mention. It's my favorite part of the list, actually.
Yeah, because this guy's, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
what
it
about
just
that
creates
guy?
conversation. Those guys are not
It's
on
like the
it.
consolation game in the NIT.
Right, yeah, except third place game.
Technically, the NIT is the consolation game.
Back in
Here
the
we
day.
go. Honorable mention, number 1 picks of all time. Dwight
Okay.
Howard's on the list. I don't
Ooh.
understand why Dwight Howard is not a top 75 guy. 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, 8-time All-Star with
He's
Dwight
not.
Howard, did in Orlando.
Hall of Famer.
Deserves to be. Well, he's going to be a Hall of Famer, but he deserves to be a top 75 player. Allen Iverson, you know what he did? He took that horrible team with Dikembe Mutombo and I want to say Eric Snow, took him to the finals. Almost won, I'm lying. They won one game and they lost 4 straight. But what he did, 12 All-Star appearances, blah, blah, blah.
Don't forget the Fiverson plan the Pistons had out.
Chris
Forget that.
Webber, got to throw a Detroit guy in there. Number 1 pick overall, 1993, got drafted to Golden State Warriors and traded, or drafted to the Magic, traded to the Warriors. And then your boy, the Glass Man, Anthony Davis, I got him in the honorable mention as well. I mean,
That's Sam's guy.
Sam Flannel, freaking
Sam's
he's in the Hall of Fame.
Sam Flannel. Now you guys ready to start
Intern
the list?
Alex, is Anthony Davis a Hall of Famer? No, hell no.
But this isn't a Hall of Fame.
I know. I'm just asking.
Oh, no, I love it because now he has to see Flannel Sam on Monday.
Right, exactly.
Flannel Sam's gonna have something for you.
Yeah, that's all right. He's got some. He's got some
guns.
pipes.
All right, 10. I'm going Elgin Baylor.
Ooh,
11
going way
All-Stars,
back.
10 All-NBAs, 1 title, and was a stud. 8 of those were All-NBA. Number 9, Maz is going to hate this, but so what? Kyrie Irving.
Ugh.
I love Kyrie Irving. Arguably the second greatest shot in NBA Finals history.
Oh, Kyrie.
Say what you want to. He is a phenomenal individual. I understand the other stuff. I understand the other stuff. Kyrie, I got to have him in there. The Big O at number 80,
yes.
1960 first pick overall,
Bucks.
12 All-Stars, 11 All-NBAs, Rookie of the Year, MVP,
Oscar
scoring
Robertson.
title NBA, and Mr. Triple-Double himself.
That's right.
It started way before Russell Westbrook. It was the Big O. Did you know he averaged 30?
Who made these graphics?
This is Parker right here, by the way.
Hell yeah,
This is Parker right here, man, by the way. So,
hey, Mr. Parker.
Big O, Ryan.
Look at the Big O take it to the hoop.
Oh, Big O's the man. Number 7, he's a guy I did not like, but you have to respect him. 1989, first overall, David Robinson. 10-time
yeah.
Why
All-Star.
don't you like the Admiral?
How
Because
could
he's
you
boring.
like him?
He's boring.
Boring.
No one likes boring. He's a boring individual. That's why when
He's a gentleman.
When Shaq dunked
An
on him, I was-
officer and a gentleman.
well, he got dunked on, and he said his gentleman ass on the ground. Here we go. David Robinson, 10 All-Stars, 10 All-NBAs. He won a scoring title, Defensive Player of the Year, and MVP. You cannot hate on the resume. Number 6,
You just did.
Akeem. When he first came into the
the
league,
dream.
it was spelled with an A, not an H. Akeem Olajuwon. 2 Finals MVPs, 1 MVP, 2 chips, Defensive Player of the Year, MVP. Here you go, man. You ready for this? 12 All-Stars, 12 All-NBAs.
Yeah.
Like, simply put, Akeem could be number 1 on this list if you really wanted to be
He's
to be
something.
honest. He could be a number 1. Number 5. I struggle with the pairing of the next 3. Number 5, Tim Duncan. Number 5, Tim Duncan. Big fundamentals.
Oh, the big fundamental.
Who got to pick him number 1?
You said what?
Who got to pick him number 1?
Same team picking
Yeah.
Victor Wembanyama this year.
I mean,
Tim
give me a
Duncan,
break.
you know his resume, 5 chips. You can argue he's the greatest power forward of all time. I mean, you know what he did. The rest is history. Number 4. Here's where Timmy Mack is going to have a problem. Lou Alcindor, a.k.a. Kareem.
Oh, man. Number 1, numero uno.
No. Hear me out.
Oh, man.
You got to hear me out.
Okay, I'm going to hear you out.
Reason why I don't have Kareem number 1 overall, yes, he did win a championship in year 2 with Oscar Robinson. But for all the he's 7-1, he's dominant, the skyhook and all that, never won another championship from his second year until he got with Magic Johnson and then James Worthy and a list of number 1 players. Facts. He's got 6 Finals MVPs, but he only has 3. He's got 3 Finals MVPs,
Facts.
6 regular MVPs. For Kareem to be as dominant as they say, I think he would have done more by himself. That's
Facts.
all. Hear me out. Number 3, Shaq. I'm going Shaq number 1. Year 1, you saw what he did for Orlando Magic. For Shaq, it's more about what he did for franchises. Got drafted by Orlando. Look what that franchise does that year. Then he gets to L.A., 3 championships later. Then he gets to Miami, a championship. Everywhere Shaq went, the NBA value of the team went up. The city value went up. When he got drafted, the league value went up. So that's why I got Shaq over Lou Alcindor.
He really made
I'm being honest.
Miami a
I'm being
destination.
honest.
I mean,
And
maybe
then they
it
won a
would have been,
championship.
but yeah.
So,
I got no issue with Shaq.
Shaq's 3. Number 2.
Oh, boy.
Trying to think of who's left. So LeBron's left. Who else is left? Let's try guess.
LeBron's number 2.
And Magic.
LeBron's number 2
Okay.
on my list.
I got
we don't have to list his accolades. You know what he is. Now he's in the conversation of the GOAT. Longest longevity. It's amazing the duration that he's been able to take care of himself. Everything's amazing. You will never be able to beat Magic Johnson, and this is why. Year 1 as a rookie, he wins Finals MVP, he wins the championship, and he plays center Maz in the final game because Kareem is hurt, and they win the championship, 42 points, 17 rebounds. That was year 1. Oh, by the way, 5 titles in 9 years. There's no way you can put anybody over Magic.
Can I just quickly see this list? I want to make one point about this.
You can't put anybody over Magic for me.
Think about this for a minute, okay?
He won the championship year 1. Rookie of the year.
I love it.
Think about this for 1 minute, okay? Think about this in this list.
Yeah.
This is a great list. It's hard to argue. No matter which variation.
Top 4 play for the Lakers?
Yes.
Elgin Baylor, too?
Yes.
Yeah. They're all, yeah.
You got 5 of the top 10 players that we just listed play for one basketball organization.
Lakers.
The Lakers. That's incredible, man. That is incredible.
How many Knicks are on
and
that
not
list?
fair.
Yo, so the funny thing is, Patrick Ewing was one of my honorable mention guys.
Thank you.
He literally
Thank
says,
you.
P.E. I never liked Patrick, though, because this is why. He just never could beat Jordan. I feel like
Who beat him? Who beat him?
He was up 2-0 twice, Maz.
Think about this list. 5 Lakers.
That's fair.
He had Pat Riley, too.
That's fair. And that's why I said I'm sorry, Ryan.
That's all right.
Okay, go ahead.
That's all right. 5 Lakers, 2 Cavs, essentially.
2 Spurs.
2 Spurs, and then Houston.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's not a big portion of
And
the
guess
NBA.
what? The Spurs picked number 1 again now.
Which goes back to what we talked about.
Right.
Look, the NBA has markets.
Yep.
The NBA will always protect those markets.
Strategically placed.
And that's an ABA franchise. That's not an original NBA franchise.
Right.
But you also saw, I mean, and to a certain extent, I don't like
Houston too, right? Or
No, Houston was NBA.
Houston was NBA. I don't like
Exactly
that
what
it's
I
not
said.
fair, but at the same time, you got to treat and you have to give love and show love to the franchises that show love to you. I mean, you look at what the Spurs have been since their inception. They've been nothing but a respectful franchise. They're run the best way. Their players have always played well. They make it whenever they're on prime time. They
That's
don't
a
let
great
down.
list, by the way.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. I put some time into that.
Great
list.
job. Great job. Great
Thank you,
job,
sir. So I know it's good
Braylon. Guys, we're going to take a
next time we got to do tomorrow, even though it's not Top 10 Friday. Tomorrow,
make it happen.
Top 10 busts, number 1s.
Ooh.
In basketball?
Number
Okay.
ones.
Ooh, that's going to be a really easy list. There are
Maybe
more,
top 20.
One is on social media. He's looking to get in fights with anybody.
Oh, yeah. What's his name? Kwame Brown.
Kwame Brown. Michael Olowokandi.
Michael Olowokandi.
Anthony Bennett.
Anthony Bennett.
That's
Man.
1, 2, 3 right there.
Right. No kidding. Guys, Randy Wise, we're going to get a message from Randy Wise.
Okay.
Oh, Randy Wise.
Yeah, Randy Wise, Tom Mazawey. Thank you for joining us today, Tom Mazawey.
The Charity Golf Classic. You want to play golf like a celebrity? Get down to a Randy Wise dealership ASAP, because you can hang out with guys like Braylon, D-Mac, and the rest of the gang. You know it's Woodward Sports and Randy Wise at the Celebrity Golf Charity Challenge. Make sure you check us out here at Woodward Sports. We're going to tell you how to win and how you can play golf like a celebrity.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network. We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard.
Corner, jumper, Allen!
Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
He is something else. How big is that?
All of Detroit sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Get a shot up. This is for the win.
All of Detroit sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage. Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports. The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network. Winning is a habit. So is listening daily to Woodward Sports. We're glad you're a winner, and thanks for listening. We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Adrian Wojnarowski with a Woj bomb.
Oh, this one's a bomb.
ESPN sources, the Washington Wizards are finalizing a deal to send Chris Paul to the Golden State Warriors for a package that includes Jordan Poole and future draft picks. First and foremost, Chris Paul to the Warriors. That feels like a match made in heaven in this positionless NBA. Chris Paul to the Warriors. What does it mean for Klay Thompson? What does it mean for Draymond Green?
Klay's going to go to the Lakers.
Who?
I think Klay to the Lakers.
Klay to the Lakers, Draymond back now. Because
Poole's gone.
Poole and Draymond Green cannot coexist. They just can't do it, and you saw, Braylon, the chemistry.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big things about it as it relates to
Are you Bob Barker now?
Bob Barker right now.
Gene Rayburn.
I can't.
Max came.
I wanted to get this point out, and then I'll figure out. The
Okay.
But I had to get this point
That's
out.
great.
What it definitely lets you know, though, is that one, Draymond Green is going to be there. That's why he declined his player option. You can't win championships in San Fran without Draymond Green. It has. Well, I can't say it has been shown. But you know what he means to that team. You know what he means to Steph. You know what he means to that franchise. So you can't get rid of Draymond Green. Jordan Poole, you can't get rid of. We paid you the bag. And then you disappeared. Jordan Poole was disappeared. He's a hard player. That's who they were talking about in the playoffs when they were saying guys aren't on the same page. Guys can't figure it out. They were talking about Jordan Poole was horrible in the playoffs. You move on from him. Chris Paul gets another chance. How many chances are you going to give Chris Paul to win this championship? I mean, there's the Clippers, there's Houston, there's Phoenix, there's now the Golden State Warriors. Chris Paul, if you can't get it done now, man, just hang him the hell up.
Well, listen,
go
this
ahead,
is good for Chris Paul because go to D.C., that's purgatory. I mean, that's purgatory. Nobody wants to play there. They got rid of Bradley Beal for his own sake. You guys told me that the other day. Now, Jordan Poole, he's getting punished. He's going to Washington.
I think he wanted out.
I know, but to go to Washington, holy crow.
It's a major market. It's a major market.
It's Washington. And maybe if they bring back the Bullets name, they could be good again. They just haven't been good since Michael Jordan played for them. Yeah, I mean, there's no more Wes Unseld walking through the door in Washington. They need a facelift. It's a nothing franchise.
I think it's a pretty good spot,
Washington
man.
almost had a quick run. I want to say 2017, 2018 when they had John Wall, Bradley Beal. I think they got to the Eastern Conference Finals, and then they had Kristaps. But other than that, you're absolutely right. But with Jordan Poole, man, he wanted his own squad. Because one thing about having success early, you think you know it. Jordan Poole is in year 4, year 5.
I still love him for what he did with Michigan.
I do too. He hit the shot.
Yep.
He's already got a championship. He's already got that first bag. He's still young. He's now the face of the Washington Wizards. Whether that's good or not for them, he doesn't care. He's the face of a franchise. He's got a championship, and he's got a bag. Jordan Poole couldn't be happier.
We are sealing the wheeling and the dealing start now. Yeah. Right? I mean, this is...
I mean, shoot, you got what, 5 hours?
Yeah, and Chris Paul, too. I mean, this is the 6th time he's been traded. Think about it. One of the all-time greats at the position.
I mean, the Warriors gave up a kid with a real good upside for an aging guy.
Well, their windows, they're desperate now for one more. This
means this is it.
They want number.
So if you're Draymond, are you signing long term there?
Yeah,
a 2-year deal, 3-year deal, right?
I do a 2-year. I do a 2-year, $60 million deal. Everything guaranteed. You still got Clay there. You still have Steph there.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the day, Steph is still there. You've won 4 titles there. That's home. That's where you were drafted. 4 titles. You've been to 7 championships. You should have, 8 championships. You guys could have won 2 of those if it weren't for injuries. I'm not leaving Steph. Like, if I'm Draymond Green, I'm not leaving Steph. Plus, it's still a window for him to collect the bag. Because outside of outside of Golden State, Ryan, and he's going to do a 2-year $30. No one else is giving him $30 million. That's why he declined that 29-player option. Because, this is about the last deal where he could sneak or weasel $30 million.
It's really a fun little shakeup, I'd say, right?
Let me tell you about something about the NBA that I really like. They just played the championship a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
They just crowned the new champion.
And then here we go.
And here we are with the draft already. And the lottery was during the playoffs. I really like that. It really drags big time in the NFL. And we know why they do it. They spread it out because they're going to be relevant 11 months out of 12. And they do a hell of a job for it. But we got to really just wait and wait and wait. NBA, tonight, 2 rounds. Boom. When I was a kid, they were doing 7 rounds of the NBA draft. 7 rounds.
Now the 7th pick is no good.
Yeah.
You're not lying about that. Getting back to that just for 2 seconds, talking about Chris Paul and Steph Curry. I didn't even think about that angle. I'm thinking about so much Chris Paul playing for the Warriors, Chris Paul getting a chance to now maybe win a championship playing with Klay Thompson, Drake. Chris Paul and Steph Curry have a history. Because Steph Curry has dropped Chris Paul so many times, and he even said something to him, if you remember last year, he yelled out.
Oh, yeah.
He said, this ain't 10 years ago. Or he said, this ain't 7 years ago, when obviously Chris Paul was cooking and they were winning games and Golden State couldn't. He called him a little boy. This is funny.
Wow.
They got a little bit of history. Now, Steph's one of the nicest people you ever meet, so they'll be able to get over it. But it's going to be fun to stay. I guarantee you they're going to make a joke about that tomorrow. Watch.
First major move that Mike Dunleavy Jr. has made as general manager of the Golden State Warriors. He did not waste any time either. Just got that job a couple of days ago. And Jordan Poole, out goes Jordan Poole.
Did you ever think you'd see Mike Dunleavy Jr. as a GM?
No.
I saw his dad
Never.
as a coach and all, but now you see his son following his dad's footsteps. Now the general manager of the Warriors. That still leaves, and I forget his last name. What was Bob's the GM of the Warriors?
Bob Myers.
Bob Myers. I think he's a perfect marriage with the Knicks. I don't know what's taking so long. Why hasn't someone hired this guy before the draft? How do you not hire Bob Myers before you draft in this class? I don't get it.
I will give Mike Dunleavy Jr. an A+ right now for moving on from Jordan Poole. One of the biggest things last year, they were great at home. I think the Warriors were something like 36-4 at home or 32-8, somewhere around there. But they were horrible on the road. They were horrible in the playoffs too. You know why? Draymond Green, who's the usual leader of that team, Draymond couldn't be Draymond last year because he decked Jordan Poole, in which a lot of people took sides, and it wasn't a fair situation. It was a dumb situation. He couldn't be the Draymond Green that's yelling at guys. You can't yell at Jordan Poole on the road. He had PTSD. He probably duck, think you're going to hit him again. That was one reason why he wasn't able to fully lead last year, because he did it to himself. Now Dunleavy says, you know what? Let's move Jordan Poole. Nothing he did last year won us a championship or got us to where we were. Let's move on from him. Let's keep Draymond. That was a smart move by Mike Dunleavy Jr. The only thing I will ask, who's going to come off the bench and play point guard for you? DiVincenzo? Because Chris Paul is old. Steph Curry is old, so he will need spelling at times. That's what Jordan Poole was able to do. He could come in for Steph and Klay. Now you move,
I know who.
Now you move Jordan Poole. Who's going to play? is Chris Paul coming off the bench?
Killian Hayes. That's who it is. There's a trade partner for you.
Guys, we're going to take a break. We'll go
Killian
around
Hayes
the
for Klay Thompson right now.
We'll go around the NFL, but first a message from Fairway Packing Company. For over 60 years, Fairway Packing Company has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. Experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods. We were there last Friday. Phenomenal place for grab-and-go steaks. You can order online. They ship anywhere next day. Fairwaypacking.com. Fairwaypacking.com. Sourced, cut, aged, packed to perfection.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit. The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
We're broadcasting to you live from Left Stanford Buick GMC in the great city of Ferndale. We're located on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile, just down the road from where we are at Woodward
we're closer
and 15.
to 8.5.
A little bit closer to 8.5, so
yeah.
okay.
8.5 in Woodward.
8.5 in Woodward, however you want to describe it.
Yeah,
I just did.
We're always coming from 15 in Woodward, so I just say south of 9 Mile. Or you could say north of 8 Mile. Or you can say partly cloudy, mostly sunny.
Mostly sunny. I like that.
Are you guys done?
Yes.
Are you two done?
Yes.
Can we get back to sports?
Yes.
All right,
Well, good.
And we're going to go to some a little bit of breaking news in college football. Really,
I know it's not good either.
No.
It's not prime time right now for Deion Sanders, suffering some health issues. Rushed to the hospital. He's going to have emergency surgery tomorrow. Deion, we've been talking about his foot. Now we're talking about a blood clot in his groin. He will have emergency surgery tomorrow. So our prayers go out to Coach Prime. Get well. We need you. The NFL, football fans, we all need you, Deion. So pull through this. Yeah. It's no laughing matter. Those blood clot is not a laughing matter. And then he has the foot problem on top of that.
Oh man, it's just
it just proves, man. Like you can take care of yourself. Obviously, we know Deion. He eats good. He exercises. We see it. But you just get older in life, man. Sometimes the things you can't control has nothing to do with health.
That guy too, Deion Sanders, is just a true gem and transcends sports really.
Absolutely.
To popular culture and really society. I mean, his message to young kids and young players and the impact he's had on HBCUs and the impact he's had on getting to Colorado. You saw the spring game alone, the impact that he's had for so many sports fans. We are rooting for Deion Sanders in life and, of course, at the University of Colorado.
If you ask my wife, just name a couple of football players. She'll say Tom Brady. She'll say Matthew Stafford. She'll say Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
She will.
Yep.
Yeah, you think of Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders is an interesting enigma because most people think about Deion Sanders, well, the pundits, the critics, they think about Deion and you want to criticize because he was flamboyant, because he was outspoken, because he emphasized on money. I mean, hell, the man made a song
Ahead of his
called
time.
Must Be the Money. But at the end of the day, what they don't talk about, he was always a great teammate. He was always on time. He always showed up. Never drank. Never smoked. That's the type of individual, that's the type of guy you want your son to be like. Hell, you want your daughter to be like. You want your friends to be like. Somebody like Deion Sanders. So much is made of the money and the me. But nothing is made about not drinking, not smoking. Very religious, very spiritual, always there for people. Been very good with kids for years in terms of the high school programs.
And his family.
And 100%, man. Deion Sanders he's a guy that when he's gone, people are going to look like, damn, he did that. Damn, he meant that. Better appreciate him while he's here, man.
And there's no doubt about it. So we're obviously wishing Dion the best and his family, and we will get more information tomorrow as we get it. Tom, ESPN making a little bit of a move.
They are, man. The ESPN guys, you remember Mike and Mike in the morning? That was their national brand, their national show. They were all over the radio, ESPN. And we all know the radio is not what it used to be. It's just not. The digital platform we're on is what people are watching. They're watching YouTube. They're watching us on digital. That's the way it goes. They're watching clips. ESPN is getting out of the radio business. And what I mean by that is they're dumping their morning national show led by Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Will, and Max Kellerman. And these three guys are on the bubble to possibly lose their jobs because ESPN is, again, making massive cuts in the next 2 days.
First of all, so one of the things about this, ESPN is de-emphasizing national radio.
Correct.
That first and foremost, for the worldwide leader to de-emphasize that platform says everything about everything. Yeah. And not to speak about what we're trying to do here at Woodward Sports a little bit, but kudos to everybody, starting at the top with Chad Johnson, who created this Woodward Sports Network as this, really here in Detroit anyway, this new medium for people to go, because this is the direction it's going. So when you are 3 years ahead of what ESPN now realizes is the direction of this thing, and that's one of the reasons why I believe in this network so much, Woodward Sports Network, because now I feel like we have here a 3-year head start, essentially. We've been part of this network for 2 years in August. We now have a 3-year head start on what everybody else is now trying to follow. Even some local radio stations now that are trying to follow what we are doing here at Woodward Sports. So to hear ESPN is doing that as well really makes you feel like you're in the right
What's
spot.
their first big move they made? They took Pat McAfee off of YouTube and put him on ESPN.
And their YouTube channel.
Exactly.
Not to mention, I mean, one of the big things, when you look at it, I always looked at that show as just thrown together. I mean, Max Kellerman with Jay Will, with Keyshawn. I mean, Keyshawn's football, his football is even questionable. You look at Jay Will. Jay Will's basketball numbers is phenomenal. It's excellent.
College.
100%.
Jay Will does not work in the morning.
He does not.
He does not
He's
work
a
in the morning.
college basketball guy.
Well, you need entertaining. Jay Will is anything but entertaining.
Yeah, it's like 10 o'clock. Also, I think, too, they get into this space now. It's a lot of arguing. I think with Max Kellerman, I think they're going to move on from Max Kellerman. I don't think he's necessarily good on TV.
Yeah, they are for sure.
He's
out.
good at boxing.
$5 million a year too.
They're going to move on from him.
$5 million.
They're going to move on from Jay Will. I think Jay Will's going to do something else too, because it seems like when he's on there, it's like he's always to prove himself. It's like he's always arguing with J.J. Redick. It's like he's always arguing with Steven. It's like he's always trying to get his point across. And I think Keyshawn is just there as a football analyst.
I do think Jay Will would
something
work.
Bigger though.
Well, you know how yesterday I said Shannon won't work by himself?
Jay Will.
I think Jay Will work by himself because he will make such big statements that you can't help but talk about. Even here, what we do, we'll say, oh, did you hear what Jay Will said about X, Y, and Z? Yeah. We probably wouldn't do that with Shannon Sharpe because he's not that kind of guy. He's not going to say it. He's just going to analyze the picture and not really make any waves.
Gotcha.
Jay Will is going to say something that makes news, that's newsworthy, whereas Shannon Sharpe is going to take a more professional approach and kind of give his opinion on things. Jay Will work on his own, I think. Shannon Sharpe, I have questions about because he's too nice, I think
indirectly, too, I think somewhere along the way, Maz, Jay Will became the Kyrie Irving guy. Like somewhere along the way throughout what Kyrie has been going through with the pandemic, with the Celtics, he became the guy to speak on Kyrie Irving. He became the guy to call out Kyrie Irving or be on his side or defend Kyrie Irving. I was watching it today. Seth Greenberg.
I saw that.
Didn't it get uncomfortable?
I was so uncomfortable.
I thought it was just me.
And I'm glad you saw that because I was so uncomfortable watching that.
What did I miss?
So they were talking about Kyrie Irving and Zion Williamson.
No.
They were talking
They're
about
talking about Zion
Williamson.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
one of those guys made a reference to Kyrie.
Seth Greenberg.
So they were talking. Seth Greenberg was talking about why he would not make a trade for Zion Williamson.
Okay.
He was against him, and he was, in my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, he listed out about 10 basketball reasons and locker room reasons why he would not have Zion Williamson on his team, and Jay Will got mad.
But there's something you left out. Before he listed all of those things, he said Zion Williamson has become the new Kyrie Irving. And that's what set Jay Will off, because Jay Will, now when you say that, like how has he become, you know how he does with the smile, head side.
Yeah.
He's basically saying, like, how has he become Zion? And at first, Seth Greenberg couldn't answer the question. He was like, well, because he's injured, he misses. He was like, there are a ton of other guys that have missed basketball. Like he said,
that was a bad comparison.
He said Kawhi Leonard would be the first one I would think of in terms of load management. Hell, Oliver Miller was fat back in the day and had to lose weight. Those are topics people I would think about. He said, but to say he's Kyrie, and then he got mad because every time something comes up, they bring up Kyrie Irving. And it's like, it's a bad comparison for what Kyrie is. His stuff is stuff that he can control. Zion Williamson is eating too much. He's depressed. He's out of shape. So more so like that. But it got to the point where.
Bottom line, nobody wants to watch somebody when it's uncomfortable. You turn the channel. That's what you do. When it becomes uncomfortable, you turn the channel. That's why he don't work in the morning, too.
ESPN seems like it's the place you come to where you want to air grievances.
Yeah.
Or it seems like if something goes on, okay, today, even though we're talking about Deion, I'm going to find a way to relate this to this so they can see me talking about that. That's what ESPN is kind of like a banner for. This is how I feel. You pay attention.
Jay Will is going to be back on college basketball as an analyst.
I don't know if that's good enough for him. He don't want to do that.
He'll still chip in on Mike Greenberg's show.
Yeah,
I think
maybe.
he's leaving ESPN.
I do too.
I really think he's going to do his own thing, and maybe CBS college basketball.
How about him and Shannon? How about him and
I'll take him and Shannon.
Him and Skip.
I don't think he can work with Skip.
He'll kill
Skip. They get in a fight. Guys, we're going to take a break. We are going to get a message from Les Stanford coming up. But first, Braylon, how about a message from where we will be tomorrow broadcasting to you live?
Check us out
in
tomorrow
Hazel Park.
in Hazel Park, not too far from here. Dispo Dispensary, you got to be 21 years or older. They are a recreational house. Simply put, they have all the flavors. They have all the strands. Recreational. Elevate your senses and embrace the harmony of nature at Dispo Dispensary. Whether you're a seasoned connoisseur, that means you know it all, or whether you're just getting into the game like myself, Dispo has it for you. Hazel Park joints, they have 9 different locations. Dispo Dispensary, simply put, the best.
Get a shot up. This is for the win.
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best into the only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m. Have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Hey gang, Les Stanford has expanded into Ferndale, a trusted name for over 50 years. Les Stanford Buick GMC, same great customers that customers have come to know for over 55 years. Come check them out. That's where we are on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile, and it is a pleasure to be joined by Kevin Maples, the general sales manager here at Les Stanford Buick GMC in Ferndale. Kevin, thanks so much for the time, my friend. Thanks for having us out today as well.
Man, happy to have you here.
So tell us about this place. I mean, we walk in. It's a great place to work. The location, the showroom. My goodness, how cool is it to be a part of this facility?
Man, it's great. I mean, you think about most dealerships. You'll see them activated like this. We got food outside. Yeah. You guys broadcasting live. 360 booth is, banging our new jingle. We're in Ferndale too, so I love it.
Yeah, that's all. You got to go to the Les Stanford Buick GMC Instagram page. Yes. They've got this jingle. We on Ferndale too.
I was gonna say, you're talking about that.
I was thinking, but it's so great.
Well, I mean, like you said, Stanford's been around 50 years, so most people associate them with Dearborn and Corvettes. So we brought some Corvettes over from Dearborn, but we want them to know we're in Ferndale now. So they expanded that GM brand to Buick GMC. We're excited about it.
Seems like how long have you been GSM here over at Les Stanford?
I'm actually about a month into it. Okay. I've been in the business 24 years, and when they purchased the new dealership, they reached out to me for me to come take it over.
Kevin, tell me, what did you see in terms of wanting to bring this sauce, as you just said, get activated? Because it is activated around like this is a place you may not even have to come by car. You just come hang out.
That's
now,
true.
I want you guys to come by car. Don't hang out in our lobby. But at the same time, I can feel your presence here. Talk about what you saw when you created this.
Well, I mean, I thought about the Buick brand itself. It seemed like an older brand. I remember Tiger Woods commercials. I remember Shaq squeezing in a Buick. And I think about the history of Buick. And I thought about the GMC brand. I mean, it's trendy. The Denali's, everybody love them. So I said, let's kind of show them Buicks can be cool too. And we thought about, hey, let's start checking out some of the cars and kind of introduce people to them. And as I decided to kind of change things around, we brought the money machine to make it fun. We got the 360 booth.
Yeah.
Obviously invited you guys in. I mean, we're ready to kind of change it up a bit.
One of the cool things, too, it seems like, as in everything, whatever business you're in, it seems to be, moving to these mega corporate conglomerates, and then the little guy is still there, too, to work for a family dealership as opposed to one of these mega conglomerates that are always out there. I'm sure that's pretty special a little bit to work for in a family-owned dealership.
Well, I work for one of those big companies. I was with Suburban Collection for the last 10 years, so we were 55-store big dealer group, then we expanded to 300 stores.
Wow.
And so being a part of that group of 300, obviously, like I said, I had a relationship with the Stanfords. I worked for them years ago for 7 years, and I was actually working next door at the Ford dealer, Suburban Ford of Ferndale. And when they moved on Woodward, they gave me a call like, hey, we're not coming on your block without reaching out to you.
They were smart. They knew what time it was.
I didn't even have to pack my bags. I left my car there and just walked over here and signed the deal.
What's hot right now? What's GMC brand, Buick? What are some of the great things happening this month?
Well, I'm driving the Yukon XL. You can't ever go wrong with one of those. The Denali's are hot. Our new Buicks are really hot. We got the 24 Buick Encore on the floors, a new body style. And we got some 22 and 23 Encores that I'm giving some great deals on these last couple days of the month.
Sounds like a plan to me. Look, I know it's not all about cars. It's also about sports here in Detroit.
For
NBA
sure.
draft is tonight. Monty Williams, new head coach, Detroit Pistons. Pick number 5, Kev. What do you want to see the Pistons do in this draft?
I've been hearing the rumors about a trade. I would like to see them trade a couple people, find a way to get Zion here. I've been a Zion Williams fan since he was at Duke. So I want to trade a couple picks and bring Zion to the D.
He's ready. That's a man with a plan.
This team feels so young. It almost feels like they absolutely have to make some sort of a deal to get a veteran. Now, I know Zion's, 22 years old?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah.
I mean, if he's a veteran at 22.
25 this year.
Or whatever. But it feels like this is a team that needs to take a big swing here.
Well, I feel like we have a young team, but we have a young team that's been around for a while. So I don't really think a veteran would be good for them because this guy will come in, try to tell them what's working for him, where these young guys, hey, we've been here 3 years. You can't come in here and just tell us what to do. Bring another young guy in that's got some talent. He'll earn their respect. I think that's the best way to do it.
Kev, what did you think when you heard the Pistons, Tom Gores, made Monty Williams the highest paid coach of all time? What were your initial thoughts?
I was excited about it. I mean, Monty's a great coach. I mean, when I think about the defensive schemes he's going to bring here, just having a coach with that type of reputation, like I say, I was excited about it. He's going to teach them young guys how to play some D.
Talking to Kevin Maples, General Sales Manager here at Les Stanford Buick GMC. Want to pivot to the Lions. Yesterday, they come out with their new helmets, their alternate helmets. Oh, I see you shaking your head.
This is my Cattering brother.
No. That lion looked pretty soft, man. That lions look pretty soft. We need a little bit angrier than that one that they're using. I'm not feeling it.
See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. One of the biggest things, my reason, I love the color blue. I love the fact that they were trying to mix the old with the new. They brought in the 70s, 80s era, mix it with this beautiful blue. Number 90, the first time they've ever used it. But that lion, he looked thin.
He looked soft.
sick.
He hadn't eaten in a while.
You're talking about a lion is what? The king of the jungle. When I think about lion, I think about Mufasa, okay? I do not think about some thin lion that looks like he's a meal or two away from ending it.
No, when they added the black to the jerseys a couple years ago, I felt like we was going in a little tougher direction. Our team is better this year, so, I mean, even if they start winning with these jerseys, people don't like the jersey, but I mean, the new helmet, but I'm not feeling it.
See, I was fine with the helmet. I like the helmet. I don't like it with the gray jerseys, the all gray color rush. You could wear that blue helmet with the all white unis.
You're cool with but you're cool with the thin lion.
Well, it's the 90th year of the Lions, and that's like their original logo. So I mean, it's kind of a paying homage to the history of the Lions. Not that it's some rich history of the Lions, but there is a history.
I'm gonna blame it on Martha, man. Martha, the Ford family. I just left Ford. I told you I walked back over to GM, man.
Is that why? Because of the Lions? Because of that logo?
Not because of the Lions. I made my move because of them Stanford guys, man. I go way back with them. I mean, my history with them. They were the first dealer. I've been in this business 24 years. First one to believe in me, to put me on a billboard, put me on TV, put me on radio. Teach me how to become a brand, and most dealers in Detroit don't do that. And the Stanfords was the one that did it for me. And now you fast forward, 13 years later, I'm back with the team. I'm happy about it.
Here's a question, not about the uniform anymore. The Lions, the new Lions, not the same old Lions, but the brand new Lions. Are you buying this season and what the Lions, Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell are putting out?
I'm doing 12-4.
I'm
feeling them this year. I mean, I got season tickets, so I'll be there every game.
That's so awesome. It's
12-5. Right?
That's right. We got the extra game.
It's such an exciting time to be a football fan. Now, are you a Michigan fan too?
I'm a Michigan fan. I don't do the green. I'm maize and blue all day.
So if you're a Michigan fan and a Detroit Lions fan, you are in for a really good fall. We hope anyway.
Yeah, boy, this, like you said, Michigan undefeated year again. I have no doubt about it. I think we're going to go all the way this year. I mean, I think JJ's got an extra year. The running game's healthy. Defense is back. I was actually at an NIL meeting the other day, met Will Johnson, a couple of other young Michigan players, and I'm excited about them this year, too.
That's awesome.
Hey, Kevin.
That's right. We got to get you in here. Absolutely. Kevin, I want to ask you before we let you go here, and thanks again for having us out here. Staff, everybody is great. And one of the things that makes any business run is the people, and having an opportunity to go up and down the showroom and meet all the fine people that work here. It's no wonder why this place is going to be a success. Absolutely. I did want to ask about cars, though. What is the situation? I see cars on the lot. That's a good thing, right? I mean, it feels like if you come in, you can drive off in a car.
That's for true. Well, a couple years ago, they had an inventory shortage.
Yeah.
Now that's changed a lot. Now it's more, we have a lot more inventory available, and us being a new dealer, we actually get extra allocation. So we get a few more vehicles than our competitors, which is going to give us a head start to kind of get ahead of them. And we got the new Hummer coming, so we got a lot of new models coming. Like I said, it's going to be a pretty good year for us.
That's so awesome.
What's the Hummer look like? Is it cool?
Oh, that new Hummer's tough. They got a pickup version and an SUV version, the all-electric, 1,000 horsepower. I mean, it's going to be a fun car to drive. And we're going to have one that we have to demo it, so I'm going to give it to both of you guys.
Like a Corvette?
Hey, I'm going to be doing 48 and 72-hour test drives, so make sure you come see me. Okay. We have it on the way here, probably about 3 months, but I'm going to be loaning it out overnight to a couple people. So come check it out.
Kevin Maples, General Sales Manager here at Les Stanford in Ferndale. Buick GMC, Les Stanford Buick GMC here in Ferndale. Cannot thank you enough for your support here at Woodward Sports Network. Thanks,
Hey, I
Kevin.
appreciate it. Hey, I'm welcome to be a guest anytime.
You got it. We're
catering, just like Pop.
We got to get you during football season. You join us for our pick segment. How about that?
Man, I'm good for it. I'm good for it.
absolutely.
Hey, and y'all can have my space anytime you want it.
We
so
might have to do that.
Hey, you family anyway, so you know. Literally. That's right.
Guys, we're going to take a break, but first a message from Planet Fitness. I have the Planet Fitness read today, as they told me all day long. Here it is. Planet Fitness thrilled to allow high schoolers 14 to 19 in the United States and Canada to work out for free all summer long from May 15th through August 31st. Planet Fitness committed to providing a safe and comfortable place for teens to work out all summer long. Planet Fitness. Yes. Planet Fitness's high school summer pass offers a solution for teenagers to stay active during the summer when school is out and important academic and extracurricular programs. We want to thank Planet Fitness plus their $200,000 giveaway to high schools and students. Go check them out, planetfitness.com, planetfitness.com. Your fitness is essential.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
He is something else. How big is that?
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
I want to show you this video coming from Drew Rosenhaus. You want to talk about just nutty. Drew Rosenhaus in the ocean swimming with the sharks. Not something that I would normally want to do. But
you got to say who he's on the ship with.
Well, the wide receiver from the Miami Dolphins,
Tyreek
Hill.
Yes.
Tyreek Hill. Oh, look at Braylon.
So they go out in this charter
right?
fishing boat, and they're, I don't know what ocean they're in. I guess they're in the Atlantic, out off of Miami. And him and Tyreek are just hanging out, and before you know it, they get some tired shark. He looks tired. He looks exhausted. And he is coming towards the boat, and who jumps in to try to get a picture with them? None other than Drew Rosenhaus. But give a listen, because the captain says, hey, Tyreek, do you want to go in as well?
One of the things about this, we'll get that video in a little bit. I'm seeing news here. I wanted to get this, not to go on
there was some other stuff that happened with Tyreek, too. We're going to talk about that as well.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll save that for tomorrow if we could, because I want to give it its proper due.
That'd be great.
But not to end the show on a downer today, but I do want to mention the breaking news that the missing Titanic submarine has been found. The crew was killed in the deep sea. The search for the missing OceanGate Titan submersible came to a tragic end on Thursday. The search and rescue team discovered a debris field on the ocean floor near the wreck of the Titanic. That's where the crew was headed before losing contact with their surface vessel on Sunday morning. Here's the quote from the U.S. Coast Guard. The debris is consistent with the catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber. Upon the determination, we immediately notified the families on behalf of the U.S. Coast Guard and the entire Unified Command. So,
but you do got to give that bit of kind of good news, if you will.
So here's the good news, okay?
Right.
And the good news isn't
It's not
great
good news,
but it's better news.
Peace of mind type news.
Peace of mind. So the good news is that because of the implosion, everyone on board died instantly instead of this slow suffocation over days.
I was feeling it just reading the article. I mean, can you imagine? First of all, it's tight quarters in that sub. They got 5 people in that sub. And they can't, and the oxygen is running out by the minute.
Yeah.
I was suffocating just thinking about that.
I don't want to try to make it like that, but this is just an open, honest question because it's one of the first things you think about. I read, that's a family. You know, so it's a father, it's a mother, I think it's 2 sons, and it's a friend or whatever. If I'm a father, I'm a mother and father, like I'm not trying to get my kids to go like deep sea diving to go see the Titanic. And I don't want to talk about that now because they're deceased, but we just got to make a better decision with the
That's not something I would have done, but you know what? People that had the money to do this wanted to do it. So that's up to them.
That's true.
That's
your job
that's some
is to
scary
protect
stuff.
your kids, though.
Yeah, you know, I mean, look, I mean, this. People have different. I agree with you.
Yeah.
People have different. People live differently. If you asked me to go on a rocket to space, I'm not doing that either, and I'm doubly not going down to the depths of the ocean either.
I will go up before I go down.
So you go on
I don't even want to go in a helicopter.
I mean,
but it's nothing up there. It's just it's air. It's space.
Right.
Like down there, you got water pressure, you have current, animals we never seen, debris that flies around. You get caught in one of those currents where you talking about the Marianas Trench, which pulls everything down. Too much down there that we don't know.
Yeah.
I'd rather go up than down.
Anyway, I can end it on a little bit of a better note.
Please.
This is more of a daredevil. It's the story I was telling you about. Super agent Drew Rosenhaus is out on a fishing charter with Tyreek Hill. There's a shark. It looks like he's very tired. I don't know if they were trying to fish him and he was just exhausted. Anyway, Drew Rosenhaus wants a picture with him. Tyreek Hill, not so much.
Right here. Don't grab him. Don't grab him, Drew. Don't grab him, Drew. Holy my God. He's so tired. We don't have good enough insurance for that. Go. Okay, he grabbed him. All right, he's got it. Hey, oh, here, hold on.
How huge this bitch is.
Can we get a picture? Here. Tyreek, you want to jump in with him? Hell no. No? Let me Drew, look right here. Look right here. Pull his head up. Wait, hold on. Drew, get back here. I'm going to get a video. Hold on.
I noticed the most about that, just the water, how gorgeous that water is. I would have jumped right in that sucker. Yeah. Not if the shark was there, of course, but I would have been in that ocean, man. I miss the ocean so much.
Yeah.
It's time
oh
to
my
go,
God.
Man. It's time to go. Right down the coast, man. Go to Florida, North Carolina, or South Carolina has been golf.
But I need to go with Drew and Tyreek. That's how I want to go.
Right. You're talking about clear water. They're probably out in the island somewhere.
Right.
Somewhere. Yeah. Anyway, they got bigger ones than me. That's all I got to say.
Guys, that's going to be a wrap for us today. I want to thank everybody. First and foremost, our crew, that JB, Parker, Intern Alex, who put this whole thing together. We can't thank you guys enough. Led by the great Jeremy Bryant. I don't give him enough credit for everything he does for our network, and I love you, JB, which is everything. And everybody here at Left Stanford Buick GMC in Ferndale, the people, fantastic. Great atmosphere. We invite you to buy a car from this place if you are looking for one.
Buy a car if you're looking, man. It's the best place to come. Kevin Maples here, GSM, said he will set you up and get you out. You might even be able to come drive off with the car that same day.
Look at that.
And make some money.
Yeah. If you buy a car today or tomorrow, you go in the money machine, chance to win $1,000. How about that?
I love it.
Guys, that's it for us. Heavyweights at 5. We'll see you tomorrow from Dispo.
Oh, gummy time.
Go Pistons.
Yes.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.